What up, what up? It's Prospector Phil here. Got my ramshackle bunny hutch finished. Got the bunnies in there. Hello, bunnies. And I basically built all of this out of scrap wood. Obviously, whatever I could find laying around. I mean, I got a piece of siding there from my shed that I built a couple years ago and got mismatched plywood on top. Sealed it up. I should roof the top, but we've had a couple rainstorms that'll hold for now. So I've been thinking, oh, hello, mister. You want to say hi? Oh, you think I got food, huh? I've been thinking after I built this, because I mean, all of this along here, this is all quarter sawn oak. All this here, all the framing and the trim, just pine on the bottom, just whatever I could find. But this was this was an old table top that I found, and I just cut everything up and made it. So these guys think I got food, huh? Well, we'll get you some food once I'm done. Anyway, so I've been thinking after I built this is pretty cool, but I need another project. I still got scrap wood laying around, so I'm gonna go see what wood I got laying around and see what I can come up with. I'm thinking a chicken coop of some sort. So here's some of the scrap pieces I got. This was all from building my shed. That shed right there. Boy, what a mess. This was left over from building the trusses and whatnot. And here's what's left of the table, or the tabletop. That's what I used. That's oak, which I do not recommend. It's really hard to build with. And those right there, I'm not going to use those because that's just too hard. But over here, I got some random scraps laying around. I was going to build another shed over here. So I got some decent 2x4s and part of an old bookcase there, which I want to say is maple, but I'm not sure. And some of it started to warp. So I don't know if I can use that, but I could definitely use these 2x4s. Got a few scraps over here. So we're just gonna, owie! Owie! These are not fun. Just gonna see what sort of wood I can scrounge up and what I can come up with. The main thing is gonna be the 2x4s, because I mean I can always strip those down into smaller pieces. I'm gonna need a lot of 2x4s, but I'm also gonna need, maybe not that piece, but I'm gonna need like some 1x2s or something like that. So the goal of this project is to build a chicken coop, spending as little money as possible, because I'm broke as a joke right now. And I got scrap wood laying around. This is our burn pile. So I pulled out what I think I can use, and I can use these posts here for a base. I've been taking the hammer and the screwdriver and just getting rid of it. This was an old dog run my brother built, and it ended up on the scrap pile. As you can see, it's so worn down, the ends are rotten. Some of these logs, they're split all the way down. So I'm just going to rip this wire off and rip out these nails here and see if I can at least get enough for the base, and then I'll do the same thing with these 2x4s right here. Probably can't use that one. That one's pretty rotten. But these two right here, I can use those. Rip the wire off of those and rip those nails out. Or staples, I guess. And I'll see what wood I can come up with. And then what inspired this is I saw a design online, which was, well, it wasn't even a design, it was just a finished chicken coop, and it didn't take up too much space, and it looked really nice. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get chickens, but I figured that'd give me something to do. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll take the hammer and screwdriver and pull these staples out, get rid of this, and then take it all to the table saw and see what wood I can salvage out of this. I think I can get enough at least for the base right there, and then a couple 2x4s for the frame, and hopefully with the rest that I got, I don't know if I got enough, but we'll see. We'll just start scrounging and start building and see what happens. Well, I drew first blood already. Right there. Yeah. Slit pulling that staple out and just nailed my finger right across this hinge there. Yeah. At least I still got all 7 fingers. So I'm at the table saw now, and I was kind of having a hard time getting this hinge off. Those nails are pretty rusty. I couldn't hardly get the hammer under it. But here's the good news. The chicken coop, I want to use these as the base. I picked the bigger posts, even though they got cracks running through them. I think they'll hold up better. So what I want to do is have the coop up off the ground, maybe 2 feet. That way there's enough room underneath it that it'll give the chickens a little more room to run, if I ever get chickens. But that hinge, we take the tape measure. If I put it at 2 feet, boy, I can just leave that hinge right on there. And I'll just leave that hinge on, because who cares? I'm tired of trying to rip it off, and that might need some attention. It's, well, at least it's numb, it don't matter. So with the table saw, I'm just gonna rip 24-inch posts here and do 4 of them, and then I'll go find a piece of plywood to put on the top of that, and that'll be the base. And then I'll need to frame up some 2x4s for the actual coop itself. That blade isn't high enough. I need to raise it up a little. That's as high as that's as high as that blade goes. Let me take the hearing protection out, so I'm not screaming at you. I don't think that's gonna cut all the way through. I might have to do one pass on one side and then flip it over and do another. Guess we'll see. Got the end of the camera there, but awesome. Got some nice solid posts cut for the base. Those are 2 feet long. I thought about squaring them up on the sides and then wrapping 2x4 around it just to hold it together better, but I think this will work. If I have to, I can do that. Not right now. And there's the garbage. That'll go on the burn pile. I'm glad I didn't have to use that crap. Yeah. So now I gotta see if I got a piece of plywood big enough for the actual base. I don't know if I did. I used quite a bit on that rabbit hutch, but I'm gonna go look and see. If I got more plywood, it'll be over here in the scrap wood pile. That don't work. So the base, I basically want it to be 4 foot by 4 foot, and that's not what I need. That's what I was afraid of. So I could do, let's see, one, that's probably 2 foot to there. Could use that for most of it, but that's still not going to be enough. Let me see what else I got. Got a couple little sheets over here holding this guy up. I could move him. Let's see. This one here, it's kind of flimsy. If I use that, those are different thicknesses too. That one's probably 1/2 or 5/8. And hello, grasshopper. And that one's maybe 7/16. That's not even a quarter. Well, crap. That don't do any good. Got a few scraps over here. This is solid wood. I really don't want to use it for plywood base when you can just use plywood, but I kind of been using all my plywood. You could see, here's the old hutch. I built this one, just put a new roof. Well, my grandfather built it, but I put new roof and new back on it, and you can got hinges on there so you can swing it up and clean out all the crap that ends up doing all that, which I could never do that before. Ooh, I got plywood under there. I don't know that I can get to that right now. That would be a pain in the butt. And winter's almost here. So let's see. If I use this piece here, I could cut that. Then I'd have to build the 2x4 base underneath it to hold everything, because otherwise that's not going to work. So I think that's all the plywood I got left. I got a couple little scraps over by the table saw, but nothing big enough to work. This one is warped all the heck and back. I don't know. I don't know what I should do. Maybe I will have to rip this piece up out of here. It's got a bunch of bunny poop on it and a bunch of other crap. But I could rip that one apart and then cut a 4x4 section out of it and use that for the base. So I'm going to wander around and decide and go from there. So I decided I'm going to pull this guy out and use that plywood underneath there. You can even see it. Here it is. And the reason I decided that is because then I can use a single sheet of plywood 4x4 for the base, but also I got 2x4s around the side, so if I can salvage those will help give me more framing material and more material that I can salvage. So I'm just gonna clean this off and try and drag it out somewhere where I can rip it apart and use it. Oh wow, this is nasty. Got all sorts of little spider webs that were on there, egg sacs. There's a spider egg sac right there. Another one there, some web, bunch of dirt. And this is actually the clean side. Underneath is what you saw before. Oh look, I got all sorts of grass growing on there. Well, that'll be the underside. But I noticed, along with the 2x4s, I got trim pieces here. So that'll be really nice. And I don't know about the 2x4s, but the trim is just held on with screws. So I got something for that. One of these guys right here. Yeah. Oop. Other way. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through here. Oh yeah, that'll work good. Rip this apart and then see about cutting it into the right size and see what I got. Got the screws out. I can actually reuse those. They're not in bad shape at all. And got one piece off. The rest of it doesn't want to come, so I can just grab one of these right here and say, guess what? It's hammer time. And just start right over here. Yeah, something like that. And something like that. That'll work. Have to pop those nails out. That'll work right there. Alright, rip apart the rest. Alright, so I got a few pieces of trim here, which will come in handy. I'm going to strip those lengthwise. Use those for trim pieces. Those are, you can see, that'll be good wood. And the 2x4s look pretty funky, but they're actually sound. They look like they're in decent shape, minus mud and weeds and crap. So I got that. And I got my sheet of plywood, which is not a full sheet. It's like 7x4. I think the estate that I got this from, the guy was using it for a table. He just threw it over a cabinet. So I'm going to get rid of some of this crap here. Should just be able to scrape that off kind of like that. And this side looks a little funky. This side looks a little bit better, so I think I'll use this side 4 feet in. Make sure that's 4 feet, and then I'll have my base. Alright. You know, you got too much dirt on your plywood when you can grow plants on there in freaking November. Yeah, that might be a little too much dirt on there if stuff is growing on it. Oh well, I'm gonna just scrape that off. That works. And cut it down and good to go. Well, there we go. Took a little effort to get that giant piece of plywood through the table saw by myself. Just because it's actually a pretty thick piece. But there's the good side. 4 foot by 4 foot. And here's the nasty side. We'll leave that on the bottom. So I guess now I need to decide where I'm going to put this sucker, because once I start putting it together, there's no way I'm moving it by myself. So I'm thinking maybe behind the bunny hutch, but I got enough room right there. A bunch of junk over there. I got enough room right here, I think. I'm not sure if that's where I want it. It should help keep it out of the wind for the most part, and the weather somewhat. So let me decide where I'm going to put this, and we'll go to the next step. Alright, I got to make this quick. Whenever you can cheat, I highly suggest you do so. You can hear I got a leak in that sucker. So I'm going to nail these on there, but I got to do it fast because my compressor died and I'm running out of air. It's all leaking out of there. So hopefully I can just take the best end of these. I wanted that hinge on the bottom, but I think that's the better side to attach to. So I'll just keep that hinge on the inside. Lay these out and attach them. Then I'll do the same thing on the top there. Well, that didn't go very well at all. Boy, those just did not want to go in there. Any of them. All 4 corners are jacked. So I guess I'll flip it over on its base and see if I can pound them down. Something's going on with my compressor and my nail gun. So I thought I was taking the easy way out, but obviously that's just jacked. Well, nothing a hammer can't solve, but still, I don't really like how this is coming out. I mean, it's fine, but yeah, it's not great. So I was thinking I'll probably cut a couple support pieces to go across. If you notice my rounded posts, I put the flat side out. Doesn't help for the back. I'm gonna take chicken wire and run around this. This underneath here will give the chickens a little more space. I'll make a run out there, and then on the top, this is where the coop's gonna be. Got enough space back here where I can build a hatch and check the eggs. Or maybe I should move it forward. I don't know if there's gonna be enough clearance right here, but we'll see. So yeah, I think I'm gonna build a couple cross braces for the legs, just to make sure they don't go anywhere, because we're gonna build a decent structure on top of this. I want it to be stable. And it's probably a good time to mention, you really don't want to be building stuff on ground that looks like this, completely uneven ground. You probably, if you can, want to build it on a flat level surface, because otherwise things kind of get cattywampus. But like I said, once it's built, I can't move it by myself, so this is about where it's gonna go. So I'll cut those cross braces, put those on, and then I can start framing the coop itself. I got the cross braces on, back and both sides, but wanted to show you there's one problem right there of using reclaimed wood. This is just one of the trim pieces I got off the piece of plywood, and I just cut it in half, and then it's split right there, but it's still, I mean, I'll have to level this off, but it's holding, at least for now. I can always replace it with another piece, but that seems a little more stable. I can climb right across it, yay. Yeah, well, as long as I can sit on here, yeah, that'll be stable enough for building a coop on top. So I guess now we just need to figure out how I want to frame the sides in the front and the back, and do that. See if I got enough 2x4s for it. Well, there's a completed base. Didn't exactly get the braces quite straight, but I just eyeballed it. Who cares, as long as it stays together. There's a scrap base here, all done. And sun's going down, it's starting to get chilly. There's that hinge. Yeah, that'll be out of the way. That'll be nice. But it'll hold me. Should be good enough. And in the meantime, I'm figure out how much wood I need to frame up the actual coop. I think I'll just do it 4 foot by 4 foot. Do a cube, and then I'm not sure if I'm gonna do inverted V for the roof or just a slant. Slant would be easier, but it might take more wood. I think I'm gonna be pushing the amount of wood I need already. Anyway, so there we go. Part 1. Next part, frame up the actual coop. So stay tuned. Weather permitting, that'll be the next video. Thanks for watching. In the meantime, we better get the piggies fed. Hi guys. What, you want some food? Hello. What? Can't even wait for the food. Can't even wait for it. Where's your bowl? There you go. Oh, yes. Feed the piggies. Feed the pig.